Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to have a look at how to take your model that you've done in Fusion and then start to produce some technical drawings from it. So there's a few things to know. So first of all, my model is finished. So I have modeled everything, I added my materials to it, and then most importantly down the left hand side what you'll see is I've got components. So under each section here, you know it's a component because it's up at this level, not under bodies. Okay, so basically if it's a component, if you click on that down arrow for each part, and then you have the bodies within the components there, like that. So that's how you know it's a component. Now, in order for you to be able to do the technical drawings correctly, you do need them to be components. If, for example, let me just turn these off for a second. Let's do that. Oh, let's turn all those off, sorry. Say, for example, you made a body and it isn't a component yet. Okay, so let's just for argument's sake say that I have got this. Okay, and it needs to be a component, but at the minute it's on the bodies here. You can see it's a body there. If I was to go into technical drawing, I wouldn't be able to do very much to it, so I need it to be a component. There's two ways to make things a component. You can either right click here and go to new component and start from scratch, but I'll be honest, I'm quite bad at remembering to do that, and actually sometimes you just don't. So what you can do is on the bodies, you can click on that body, you can right click and you can go create component from body. And then down there it's created a component and then I can give it a name. And then once you've done that, then you can progress. So that's the first thing to do. I don't want to actually do that, so let's just undo. There we go. There. So let's turn all my components back on. So yeah, so the first thing, just make sure you've got all your components on there. Now, your drawing workspace is under here. So it says design. So if you click down here, same place you'll find render. So the main ones we'll use really for the most part is design, render, and drawing. So we go drawing and we want to go to from design. Now it does take a little bit of time. So create drawing, you want full assembly. We are in the UK, so we can do ISO, but you can do ASME, which is American standard measurements. And then just check your measurements. We've been working in millimeters the whole time, and we want A3. So just check those because obviously we are based in the UK. All depends on where you're watching the video, really. But because I'm based in the UK, those are my standard sort of settings that are put in there, and that's pretty much what we want. We want ISO, we want millimeters, and we want A3. Click on OK. Now it does take a little bit of time for everything to load up. Okay, so we're now in our drawing section. So what we are going to do, while I wait for it all to load, there we go. So our sheet will arrive, which is in ISO format. So what you have got is title block down at the bottom, which we can alter in a little bit. And we've got our borders around there. So if you have done anything around technical drawing before, you know British Standards 8888, which is to do with BSI technical drawing, and then ISO. But thankfully, Fusion does it all for you, so you actually don't have to worry about making your sheets correct anyway. So to begin with, excuse me, we have got attached to my mouse, if I just move it around, is my base view. Okay, so so I just click there, and then I have planted that in place. Now say I want to do a projected view, so I can click on there, click on parent view and come up, and it will come and do a top, bottom, side, and side. And click on OK. Now obviously bear in mind that I've gone over the edge a little bit, so you need to make sure you place it all in the correct place. So I'm actually just going to delete these first of all because I've not really put them where I want to put them. So let's just do it that way. Okay, so let's start with a base view again, and then let's place it there. And then what will happen is you can then change your style. So I could, if I wanted to, do different shadings, change my orientation to, let's go to front, top, right, and home. So you can choose those sort of settings that you want to have. So you can choose which sort of view you want. So I'm going to have my left one there, and I'm going to click on OK. And it will show you out. You can do coloured if you want to at a later date. So if I double click, and I can pop this back up again and say I want it to be shaded, and then it'll put my colours back on there as well. So I've got my base view that I want to have there. You can also play around with the scale, so it's doing 1 to 2 here. You can change that if you want it to be bigger or smaller. Just be aware that each time you do things, it does take a little bit of time to load. So let's do 1 to 2. It does do a pretty good job at guessing which sort of sizes you want to do. But yeah, it's worth having a little play around of which sort of settings you want to have. Now, hidden edges will let you do, obviously, bits that you can't see on the inside, particularly if you can have measurements on there, which we will do. But for now, we're just going to do shaded like that. And if I click in my middle mouse button and drag around, I can pan my sheet around. Okay, and I'm going to click close. Then I'm going to do projected views. So click on parents where I don't want to start from. So I'm going to start from this, and I'm going to drag up so I can do it underneath. And then come across. And then what I can do is let's drag down here, hit OK, but actually, wait a second to load. There we go. I can then drag this over here if I want to as well. So I've got, essentially, is an orthographic drawing of all of my different sides on there as well. Again, I can play around with these sort of settings if I want to. So I can just make one of them be ghosted or coloured if I want to. So in fact, if I go from parent, whatever this setting is, those will do. But what I could do, for example, is I could select these. Oh no, I can only do one at a time. And I can make all of these black and white. So if we do it from parent there, then I can change this one and make this coloured. So they're all different that way. So I've got sort of a base view of all my different components. Now what I can then do is I need to make sure I've got dimensions, everything on there. So if you go up to the top, we've got dimensions here. So what this will let you do is if I zoom in, for example, I can, let's take this main one here. I can click and I can drag and it will come up and it will do in measurements of what I need my information to be. So if it's not going to do exact as well, you can come off and do point to point as well. But it does typically do quite a good job of figuring out what sort of lines you want. So you do need to spend a little bit of time just sort of playing around, making sure you got the right measurements. If you go to, let's get rid of that one. If you hold on, you do have also other sort of dimensions. So I can get radial dimensions. So I could click on particular circles and it'll tell me what the radius is for any rounded edges. We have also got, so we could do radius or diameter if I wanted to. We can do angular dimension, so if I need to figure out what the angle is from there to there. Like that. So I'm not doing any, there's no rhyme or reason to which way is round I'm clicking these at the minute. By the way, I'm just trying to show you the different parts that you need to have. So yeah, those are sort of all the key dimensions you need to have. You can also add text, so if you need to have any particular sort of manufacturing notes. So I might have like manufacturing notes. And then close. So then I've got that and I can double click and I can add notes into there later as well. And then I can sort of, again, I can sort of move that around as and when I need it. So that is sort of like the first sort of page of having your main drawing and then having key sort of measurements on there. With your title block, what you can do as well is this is derived from your original model. So this is just the name of the model and the file that I saved it as. You can double click and change these things at any point. So I could change dates, I could change names, but again, it's taken from your account. Yeah, you can sort of add your information there. If you're doing this for a proper company, you can then add in your own logo there if you want to as well. And then click finish when you're done. So that's sort of the first one. Then what you can do is create new pages. And then if I go to base view, and then say, for example, I will, let's do left again. And then let's click there. Click OK. what I can then do is switch off all my other components so you can just see this one particular component. And this is why you need to have components, so that you can actually do that. So then I can go on projected views, so you can see all the different sides. Again, I know I've gone off there, so I'm going to move everything over a little bit. There you go, like that. And again, I can do dimensions again if I need to. So I could go on to down to dimensions. I can come and do exactly what sizes I need to do. Obviously, spend time making it a little bit less messy than what I've done it as. Again, you can make sure you have got any manufacturing notes, any key notes, you need to have anything like that. So you're probably going to end up with multiple different pages. So you'll need to have one for each sort of component that you've got, depending on what the thing is that you're producing. So you've got your main sort of drawing, multiple pages. Each time you want a new page, just sort of click the add page down there, go to base view, and then this time let's do home, which should be that one. That's the right one. And then let's just click there first. And let's do shaded. Click OK. So say I've got my drawing there. Then what I can do is I could go to table. And what that's done there is labeled each individual part as well. Now, it's worth pointing out, I've added materials to my original mode here. But once I've got into drawing, it said material here, everything is steel, because that's sort of the default material that comes into play. That's because you need to change the physical material. So say if I go to camera body, here I can right click and then I can go to properties. No, that's the wrong one. What was it? It's physical material. There it is. Okay, so I'll go to physical material and I'm going to wait for it to load. There you go. So this is what will change the actual one. So say it is a metal that I want, but say what I want is aluminium. Okay, so it's not changed the appearance, it's changed the physical thing. So once I come in here now, if I were to delete that, if I was to bring my table back in again now, it has not updated. Why has it not updated? Oh wait, no, I've just... Let's just check. Physical materials. There we go. So now hopefully if I go back, oh, still nothing. It's annoying. Why are you not doing what we want you to do? Okay, so let's get rid of description first of all. We can get rid of quantity, and you can just start playing around with the different ones you have on there. I could even, if I wanted to, turn off material that way, but it's useful. That should, I'm not sure why that isn't working. Someone, I'm sure, can tell me why that isn't doing what I want it to do. Normally it is doing physical material. Let's just try it with something else random, just to, let's say I'm doing it up. Okay, for argument's sake, let's say okay, now let's see. No. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I don't really know why that's not working. It should be matched be it's a little glitch or something. But yeah, so we'll carry on anyway. So you have sort of drawings of your main sort of parts broken down orthographic view. Then you'll need to have sort of like individual components broken down, views and measurements. Parts lists, again, you've got different tables where you can do some different parts. You can play around with what sort of different tables you want, sort of balloons. So you can have additional parts coming off like that and give them new different parts, which we don't want. So I'm going to undo that. those really are sort of the main ideas of what. Oh yeah, let's do one more just so you can have a look. Let's do. Um, yeah, let's do left. Let's make it bigger. Let's do 1 to 1. And let's do shaded. Okay, so let's say I've got that, but then say there's a part on the inside I need to be able to see. What you can do is you can do sectional view. Okay, and what I'll do is say I want to go from here to here. And what that's done, it's probably a bit hard to see. Let's do it a little bit different. Let's do, say, here to here. Okay, there you can see a bit better. It's actually cut that drawing in half so you can actually see on the inside of it. So again, that's probably a bit of a poor example. Let's do sectional view. Let's do down here. So let's say I want to see what's in here. There you go, that's a bit better. That shows a bit more detail of what's going on. So what it is doing is you can see like the internal parts of how things are working. And say if I want to have a more detailed view, I could, for example, zoom in, say I want to have a more detailed view there, come out and click OK. And then what has happened is that has got a more detailed view zoomed in. So this section is more detailed of this area here. So that's sort of a basic breakdown of the technical drawing area of Fusion 360. And then if you need to, you go to File Export, Export as PDF, and insert it in anything you need to do. Only thing I'm not 100% sure of is why when I was changing the physical materials, it didn't change on there. That is a little bit irritating, but that is normally how it would be done. Let me just check. Maybe it's a case that I need to... No. Okay. Oh, yes. Is that... Okay, I'm going to make Fusion crash now. Okay. Yeah, that is normally the way to do it. I don't know why that's not doing it for some reason, but there you go. But yeah, that is a breakdown of doing your technical drawings in Fusion. Hopefully you found that helpful. Any questions? Let me. Okay, so I've just restarted Fusion and now actually I've figured out basically what happens is I did change the physical materials of the material. But essentially what you have to do is do all of that, then just close the file down and reopen it, and then your materials will be reassigned. So that was earlier in the video when I was messing around with the physical materials and it wasn't coming up. It had been done, I had to close the file and reopen it, and then everything had changed again. So right technique, just a bit of a faff. So right, just wanted to add that into the last little bit of the video just to problem solve the issue. Any questions, let me know.